so I'll make sure that I'm adjusting the speed as needed.
All of the horrible diseases that Autumn described are considered vaccine preventable. What does this mean? It means that these diseases could potentially be prevented, but in order to do so, people must get vaccinated. Most, if not all of us here at JSS...
That's okay. I'm going to go back. And we're definitely not going to be able to hear you if it's that quiet, so we might have to do a little bit louder. We'll just have you start from the beginning.
All of the horrible diseases that Autumn described are considered vaccine preventable. What does this mean? It means that these diseases could potentially be prevented, but in order to be so, people must get vaccinated. Most, if not all of us here at JSEHS have received a vaccine at some point in our life. Who are we protecting when we get vaccinated? Is there any other effect beyond protecting ourselves? Imagine for a moment that we are in a city that has never had a case of a particular disease, such as the measles. This would mean that no one in the city has ever had contact with the disease. No one has natural defense against, nor has been vaccinated against measles. If one day a person sick with the measles appears in the city, the disease won't find much resistance and will begin spreading from person to person, and in no time it will disseminate throughout the community. After a certain time, a big part of the population will be ill. This is what happened when there were no vaccines. Now imagine the complete opposite case. We are in a city where more than 95% of the population has defenses against the measles, which means that they are either had the disease, survived, and developed the natural defense, or that they have been immunized against the measles. If one day a person sick with the measles appears in this city, the disease will find much more resistance and won't be transmitted that much from person to person. The spread will probably remain contained and measles outbreak won't happen. People who are vaccinated are not only protecting themselves, but by blocking the dissemination of the disease within the community, they are indirectly protecting the people in the community who are not vaccinated. They create a kind of protective shield which prevents them from coming in contact with the disease so that these people are protected. This indirect protection that the unvaccinated people within a community receive simply by being surrounded by vaccinated people is called herd immunity. Many people in the community depend almost exclusively on this herd immunity to be protected against the disease. These unvaccinated people include babies who may be too young to receive their first shots. They include people who may have a disease or take medication that lowers their defenses. There are also people who are allergic to a particular vaccine. They could even be among us, any of us, who got vaccinated, but the vaccine didn't produce the expected effect because vaccines are not always 100% effective. All these people depend almost... What? Wait.
I'll go back.
Why is it... Didn't it repeat?
Yeah. Let's just skip that sentence and start at for herd immunity to work.
But I think we did that too.
Did you say that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's just say that.
For herd immunity to work, 90 for...
Well,
Okay.
yeah.
For herd immunity to work, 95% of the population needs to be immunized, but in recent years, many populations have fallen below this required threshold. For example, only 91% of California kindergartners were up to date on their shots in 2010. Unsurprisingly, California had a massive outbreak of whooping cough. This is not an isolated incident. From 2011 to 2012, reported incidences of this disease rose more than threefold in 21 states. Formerly conquered childhood diseases like measles and mumps are also making a resurgence. The journal Pediatrics indicated that these outbreaks clustered where parents filed non-medical exemptions, where parents decided not to vaccinate their kids because of their personal beliefs. When people choose not to be immunized, they are selfishly jeopardizing the health of those who cannot be immunized. The problem is that this is not an individual choice. It is a choice that acutely affects the rest of us. As it is written in our founding documents, we have the inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Based on herd immunity dynamics, if enough people choose not to be vaccinated, they are infringing upon the rights of others. Especially in the context of public health, the rights of an individual are subordinate to the common welfare.
Awesome, and you're right at 5 minutes.